But right now, I'm going to go back and enjoy the rest of the summer, but go back to school shopping on Friday with my niece.
Back to the beach.
Back to the
beach before we have to go back to school because it's coming. Tick tock, tick tock.
It's coming, but go out, go shopping, order all the gear you need to for your kids' dorm.
Make it an opportunity to do a little one-on-one with whoever's going back to school. Make it special. Like go pick out, their school supplies with them or take them to get their first day outfit or their backpack or their dorm supplies. Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. We are back and we are not trying to rush summer by any means. Right, Jen and Dare?
Definitely not. For me, it just started.
However, I will say, for those of us that are sending kids off to college, it's rapidly approaching. And the back-to-school sales are in full effect. And I just think we're going to tackle the joy of going back to school and also, some of the remorse that goes hand in hand. It's a happy, bittersweet time. It could be the first year of kindergarten. It could be the first year of high school. It could be the first year of college. And there's really not a big difference for a parent in all of those.
Yeah, so my sister's daughter, my niece Lily, who I love her. I love all my nieces. She goes to school on Saturday. She's going to Jacksonville to play soccer, and it's over. She has her last day of lifeguarding tomorrow. She was running by us today on the beach, and I'm like, Lily, what's going on? When are we going shopping? Because she said, I don't have any clothes. You need your whole new kit for back to school. Yeah. So we're going shopping on Friday if anyone wants to join us. But already,
fun.
I mean, summer, it's
Abby
July.
informed me that she is going to the city tomorrow to go back to school shopping. And I was like, do you want me to go? And she's like, nope, I'm going with my girls.
Can I have your card?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
the card. Well, I mean, the back to school situation, I think we've recognized it's like a transition, and it's like the gearing up right now. And for some parents, it's anxiety ridden because it's the fear of the unknown. They've had their littles home, and now it's like, how are they going to make friends in kindergarten, and how are they going to make friends in high school, and and
wait by the mailbox,
and they don't do that anymore.
Oh, they don't.
You don't get it in the mail.
Nothing comes in the mail. Your bill.
Yeah, exactly.
We had secret school. Here's your new teachers, and everything's online.
It's had a day to it, like a minute to it back in the day for my kids.
Nope. And with Nate, they stopped even. My youngest is 15 now, sophomore in high school this year. They stopped letting you know ahead of time because it created so much problems for the school because the parents want to manufacture who's in their class. And if they're with somebody or not with somebody, they don't want that to happen. So the schools wait until the absolute last minute in the elementary and middle schools to let you know who their teachers are because they don't want to hear from you about it. No feedback. And I mean, I do get that because that's a challenging situation for the school and the parent.
Our school is like Mayberry, the elementary school. And we know who we're going to get because my sister and my cousins, Dee Dee, I think, is like the sixth one to kind of come up from the bottom. So she's the youngest out of all of them. And, you have Mrs. Apostolou. Oh, you have this teacher. You have this teacher. Oh, she's mean. She's not. So we already have the insight on who she's having. Right. And meanwhile, Farley, you're going to be an empty nester.
I mean, I'm excited about Abby leaving and embarking on part 2 of her fabulous life. I mean, she's ready for college. She's ready to bust out of here. And I'm sad because I'm going to have to figure out what I am doing with my downtime.
Hanging with my brother.
And I don't
hanging with Dad.
I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. I mean, I think it's going to be, nice to actually have downtime and remember who I was before kids and try to get back to myself and do things that validate me because I've been all about my kids. But at the same point in time, I'm worried because, she's going to be in Ohio, so it's far. It's a plane ride. I mean, it's a car ride too.
But no, for you, every weekend you're going to Loyola. You're going somewhere. You'll be going to Ohio State. You'll be going somewhere for a game. So you're still kind of engaged.
Right now we're doing the dorm Dormify. I don't know if everybody's been to dormify.com, but it's a little, overpriced. But if you want one-stop shopping, you can do your kid's whole dorm, at the click of a button. But right now we are
Dormify. If you'd like to sponsor us, we're putting a shout out to.
I know.
I mean,
kind of ripped on you a little bit too. I mean, it's the fun part about putting a kid into a dorm is it's like a family affair. And my husband's going to go. We have to put things together. We shop together. I come home with things for Abby. Yay or nay? Nay. I take it back. She and her roommate are trying to coordinate efforts. So they're going to have matching beds and matching headboards and kind of this overall matchy vibe. But you still want to bring your individuality to the table. And, so it's really fun. It's exciting. It's the same thing, in high school. When you're first going to high school, it was like a big backpack day. We're going to go shopping for a backpack. That was like your signature, and your sneakers, the pair of sneakers or your outfit that you were going to wear day one.
So many outfits. And now you have to get you have to go to Ulta and buy all the face washes and scrubs and everything you need for your morning ritual before you go to school.
Oh my God.
That's fourth grade.
Not for boys.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Not in my household.
I have a morning ritual and I'm in my 50s.
Oh, are you kidding? Every morning. Oh, are you kidding? What's taking you so long? Wow. I'm doing my thing. And
her face is going to be fabulous by the time she's my age, if she's doing,
just
products.
Look at the lines. Mommy didn't do that. So keep doing it. No, it's exciting. Buying a backpack. How much fun was that?
Oh my God, I love it.
And they used to have really cool backpacks that were well made and you could carry heavy things in them. Now you get these backpacks, and Dee Dee had this gold one from Pottery Barn Kids, and had all her books in it, and then all of a sudden, like second weekend, strap just breaks. I'm like, oh, and it was so cool. So
things aren't made to last anymore.
Yeah.
Just buy another one.
Back in our era, it was the Trapper Keeper notebook.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I lived for my notebook was everything. And the Trapper Keeper with the Velcro flap, you could open it up and it was like whatever, the design was on the outside was amazing. I mean, that was so exciting. I remember I had a Levi's 3-ring binder and it was jean material and it had a pocket on the front with like an apple.
Whoa.
I was like that. They should bring that back. You could probably find that somewhere. But, there's always a ritual, no matter what age, no matter what stage, getting amped up and getting ready to go. And it is big business. I mean, back to school is bucks.
And right now it's back to school everywhere you go at Staples. Summer's still kicking off. I mean, although Lily's leaving for college, but
that summer list that you get,
there's still a summer list. You're shopping and you need your crayons and you need your different color binders.
Oh
and
God, I love my box of crayons.
Oh, when you go
box of crayons and my sharpener.
Yeah, and you have to get your new set of bands. Like, what color checkerboard bands are you getting this year? And just the whole shopping. Then they go to school. You're like, wow, I have a lot of time to actually get things done. Because summer, there's no time. There's not even a minute to take a breath.
No, and it's hard. It's hard for the kids. I feel like one of the interesting things about like that, again, I am all about transitions. It's like getting the kids. I feel like the American summer is too long. I really do.
What?
Yeah, I do. I do. From a developmental standpoint of the kids. I'm not talking about fun and like activities. I'm saying from a school mindedness. Like by the time they're in school, they've like the attrition of what they've learned from last year, like the studies have shown, is just way too much because they've had too much downtime. The math is now like, not on their brain. They're not reading like they were, even if they're doing their summer reading, even if they're taking a course. So I feel like part of the transition that parents and kids have to get back to is like back to a little bit of a routine. And that's one thing I will say for the kids who do play, but we talk about sports a lot on this program. That's one thing that's really nice about your kids who are athletes, because they start practicing, and which actually has gotten too soon. I'll be honest with that.
Way too soon.
It's
practice last night for soccer.
It's a joke. It used to be like August. It's a money grab, but it's also the captain's practices, because that's not a money grab. High school is not a money grab. It's the captain's practices. It's the lifts that aren't mandatory, but if you're there, wink, wink, nod, nod. Like you're going to know more and you're going to do more. And I understand there's a lot of intricacies to a lot of these sports, but my point is that I do feel like the athletes have a better ramp up period where like they're getting back into the building, they're getting back to seeing their peers, They're getting back. So I think it's a little bit easier for those kids to come back to school in September or start something new, especially if you're a freshman in high school that's come to a regional high school and you don't know other kids. So I'd say out there to like any parent who's got an 8th grader, like put them in something in like now. It's starting in the end of the summer. Get them involved in a sport. Every high school will take you in the freshman year. Like they'll find a spot for you somewhere. If you don't make the football team, there's a soccer team. Like there are spots that are needed. And that will get you into a place where you feel connected to your school. You'll feel connected to some people. And it'll not only get you in shape physically, but mentally, you got to learn some stuff. You got to learn plays. You got to learn where to be. So I think that that's a really great thing that with the ramp up that can happen, that's nice for the kids when they come back to school. And you have a student athlete, so that always happens for you.
God. The college athletes get their, it's not a manual. I'm trying to think of what it's called. Their packet, their summer packet. And when their summer packet comes and it tells them exactly what they are going to be responsible for doing as soon as they report back, it's insane. I mean, it's the beep test, it's running, it's a lot. And I think Chase's came in the mail maybe a month ago. And I kind of feel like that's what the point of the packet dropping in the mailbox is. It's like, hey, guess what? It's not that far away. Come back. So you got to start taking the initiative and doing, banging out some stuff on your own prior to showing up. And, it's the same way. Like if you take the reading list seriously, if you do some of your summer assignments, it's trying to, get the cobwebs out, because you do have to kind of retrain your brain to wake up and retrain your body to get moving. And if you don't take your foot off the gas pedal too much, then getting in shape doesn't feel so hard, right?
Right.
And studying doesn't seem to be like an impossible feat, right? It's just, continuing, like having balance, and you can have a reprieve. Rest is good in all areas, but it's kind of getting to be go time, folks.
It is go time. You just reminded me. Dee Dee usually will get her tutor once a week, middle of July. And it just escaped my mind until you said it. I'm like, oh gosh, I have to call Anne-Marie. Because then it just gets her on, like you said, it puts her in the 4th grade. I know it's 4th grade, but it still gets her brain going. Okay, I'm thinking about 4th grade math. And
these teachers say it takes them 2 weeks to undo these kids.
Right. And because you
at least
have a good solid month of summer airing it out, and they don't sleep. It's just nonstop action and sports. I mean, already today we had junior guards into surf camp, into tennis, into swim team, into, wow, what are we making for dinner? I'm like,
and see, what we've been doing is we've been having graduation party after graduation party, after party, after party, after party,
after party,
and after scheduled getaway to this fabulous place or that fabulous place. I mean,
these kids have been like the
we said it before. We've taught our children well, and we're definitely paying the price for teaching them well. That's for sure.
That have just started to wrap up the final graduation parties. Now it's going to be the send-off parties, because people are going to college as of this weekend. If you're a soccer, August 10th is when the first batch of Abby's friends start leaving. And
the football players are already gone.
Football players are already gone. Preseason. So
she only has her first game, August 13th or 17th in BC. She's going from Florida, and she'll be in Boston. So if anyone wants to go to Boston, but I'm like, wait a minute, it's people haven't even left for college. You're already almost 3 weeks in, and training, and it's on. But Southern schools start so much earlier.
They start earlier, and that's the other interesting transition when you see with the kids that, like, who's going first and who gets left last. And like that emotional roller coaster of kids, because like they have the kids that get left last, like they're like, oh man, I'm still here with all you guys. Now I feel like a loser. And they can't choose when they go back to school. The school lets them go back when they go back, but the Northeast traditionally goes back.
See, you have boys.
Like after my oldest son went to University of Rhode Island, and they're very much on like this kind of a schedule, meaning the Jersey coast, where they start after Labor Day, because everybody's summer until Labor Day weekend up there. So they don't start school until after Labor Day weekend. That is so late comparative to except for University of Delaware, which was where I went. Everywhere else. And so his summer, although it feels like it starts late because they don't end until May,
which is way better time to end. Lily comes home like in the beginning of April. I said, April's brutal. You don't know what you're going to get. It's cold. It's rainy. It's not. None of your friends are home, and people aren't spending money at the bars if you're working at a bar.
Well, hopefully she could do like a Maymester abroad at that time. That's what a lot of those student athletes do.
That's what Mac did.
But I love like back to school shopping. It's so much fun.
Back to school shopping.
And we start
great, but it's expensive as you go up into the ages where labels matter.
Labels matter.
And, I kind of like the fact that I have tomboys that still like to just go in their swag, their athletic swag to classes and whatnot. And, that's their vibe. Thank God.
That's a cool vibe, though.
But what I will tell you is because I have a house full of girls, when each friend goes, okay, so our first friend is Phoebe. She's heading to University of Miami. The tears and the goodbyes are brutal. I mean, it's the cutest thing ever, but these girls have not ever been away from each other because they've grown up together since they were babies.
And this is their first time leaving, not like their second
leaving.
And it's a closing of a chapter. Like they're smart enough. Kids nowadays are smart enough to know that like high school is now officially over. Like we are going potentially our separate ways. We will potentially go and we may maintain a relationship. BFFs. We may not. We may have new BFFs. Hopefully, like who knows? And that's a stressful situation for some kids.
Boyfriends,
I was going to say boyfriends, the girlfriends that split,
and there's breakups, and it's
be long distance.
Don't do it.
Don't bring Brett to the bakery.
Stay to the beach, baby.
Oh my God,
it's hard. It's life moments, and they're all a very big part of growing up and becoming who you are. But I'm seeing a lot of life. And I'm surrounded by it. I'm taking Abby's crew to Vermont this weekend. And it's an annual trip that we do. We go up to the house in Warren and we huck ourselves off of as many faces as we can. And
Warren Bridge.
Oh, Warren Falls. Actually.
Oh, sorry. I know that. I live there.
We do the bridges too, but it's funny because this time the boys are going to Stowe. So they want to meet halfway on some of our adventures.
Oh, I'll tell you where to go.
So they're going to meet us they want to go to Warren Falls because they keep seeing all of our magical photos.
Yeah.
So we're doing a day there and a picnic together. And it's cute because this crew doesn't want to be apart now. So, and your senior class, you'll see that whether you're in eighth grade graduation, the eighth graders become super tight. Like at the end of each chapter, you really kind of almost have taken little things for granted, and now you're appreciating all these little moments that are really big moments. And so I see a lot of bonding and banding together happening at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I love back to school. I think back to school is, I actually feel like back to school is like the beginning of the year for me more than January 1st.
It's a great movie too.
I
would like to go back to college. I would like to go back to high school. I mean, seriously, if I could do it again, not that I have regrets, but I'm saying like enjoy school, people. It is awesome. I mean, you have like no true real worries unless you're in college and you're, really trying to graduate with a degree and you need to be superior with your grades because you're going.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think you always have, even at the fourth grade level, like you're building on stuff, right? Every year. You want to do your best kindergarten that leads you to your best first grade. Like, because if you don't put those steps in the beginning, like the college is going to get really hard. So I just think that building on every year and taking every back to school as an opportunity but
you don't realize that until you're mature. I didn't realize, I'm going to do the best job in kindergarten. I'm going to be the best kindergartner ever. Or first grade or second grade. It takes you a while to.
That's why you have parents.
I hope we did our best version of kindergarten for our kids.
Wait, I'm doing my best version now, mama.
If I could be a tutor, I'm saying if I could go backwards, knowing now that I would have maximized my efforts, and I was no slug. I got great grades. I was a 3-sport athlete. I went to college on a scholarship, academically and athletically. but I could still have done better.
Of course.
And I could have maximized
do better.
Yeah,
but you don't know. You're in the heat of it. I went to school.
That's
all my brothers. I went to school with my brothers and my cousin went to college in Burlington, and you're in the mix.
You're not thinking.
In the moment. You're not thinking. You're thinking of like waking up and looking. Is there snow? Am I going to go train? Can I go train? And I want to ski. I wanted to ski faster and study. But
if any students are listening to us, this is us talking to our younger self. If we could,
yes, talking to my younger self. School is great, but you have to work for the rest of your life at some point.
Enjoy it.
Right.
Wish it to go too fast.
Unless you know what you're going to do after college. Like, I'm going to study finance and I'm driven to do this. If not, it's just an experience, and it's a life experience that you meet friends and you kind of learn how to like deal with, okay, how am I going to structure my day? How can I need time to study. I have to focus on this. I have to focus on training. I have a race this weekend. I'm going to go air it out because Thursday's mini Friday, the best night out, and then I'll race on the weekend. But you learn to budget your time, and it's time management around the clock. And that's what I think you bring home from college, and the connections and friends that you made, and independence. You learn independence because when you're in high school,
can't do everything for our kids anymore, nor should we.
You're not supposed to. And it's the first time when they go to college where the things that you've taught them at home, whether it's the parents or the coaches or whoever, they have to put into practice for themselves. There's not a structured breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's not mom telling you should clean up your room. There's not you should go work out. There's not you need to do your homework, turn off the television.
Make your bed.
Do a sport because that keeps you grounded and not eating French fries. And you every meal that you can. That's anytime you saw French fries, like, yes, fries. I remember just eating them at school, and they had fries and fries and gravy at night at Nectar's, like after drinking all day. That's why you just gain weight because
watch the freshman 15. Be careful.
But that's what it is. Work too. It keeps you grounded. Whether it's club sport, if you don't have your own, join a different group. That just keeps you so that you're not every night, because there's always someone to party with 7 days a week. You can always find someone to go out with.
Yeah.
And if you have a sport, it keeps you focused on, okay, can only go out.
Sport or a fraternity, sorority club.
Hey, listen, I had the best job in college ever, and I tell all of my friends that don't have athletes that are working out. Everybody else worked at the bar. I taught aerobics. You name it, I've taught it since college, and I believe wholeheartedly, and I'm sure Farley will agree with this, it's why I have stamina, because I can get up and teach and air it out the night before and get up and do stuff. I taught 2 classes a day. I made great money. I worked for a woman who was awesome, Women in Motion in Newark, Delaware.
In shape too.
I stayed in shape. I got paid to work out. I got I got free tanning bed, which led to some of my skin cancer, so I don't recommend that. And I got half price Aveda products.
I like Aveda.
So I had the best job ever, and it created a health mindset that I attribute to like my health mindset that I have now. So I totally agree. Like, when you transition to college, figure out a way to stay active. And the one thing that I'll say too is that make sure you find a posse of people, whether it's on your team like your girls do, or it's in a fraternity like my son has had, of people that you're soaring with, that really want the best out of you, and what you want to surround yourself with like-minded, not single-minded, like-minded people. People, I say it all the time, I love Shane's fraternity at the University of Florida, because it's a work hard, that's first, play hard environment. Like, you do the work, you want to go out and air it out, that's great. They get back on the horse and they do the work again first. And that is a testament to what you were saying, Darian, earlier about like scheduling and budgeting time and being mindful about where you are, but being around people that are also doing that, because you have other situations where some kids will get thrown into a room their freshman year with people that are not of their ilk, and they're out till 2:00 in the morning and not studying and not working out and eating poorly and ordering DoorDash. That's pervasive. But You don't want that to be your everyday.
Yeah.
That can be every
Sometimes you have
once
to
in a
learn
while.
lesson, though. That's what I do. Like I went off to college and I had an academic scholarship and I had to keep my grades above a 3.5 and I'd never been below a 3.5. So I didn't think it was going to be a problem. But I was an only child. I was playing a D1 sport and I had freedom for the first time. So I was like, wow, I'm athletic. I can go out and have fun on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I can still get up and go to practice and I feel fine. And I don't have to answer to my mom and dad who are super strict and I always had a curfew. And so I aired it out a little bit and I got put on academic probation my first semester because I went down to like, I don't know, maybe a 2.9. I mean, something really ridiculous. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a 3. I can't remember. But I had to get a 4.0 to get my GPA up to a 3.5 to get off of academic probation. And that was all the lesson I needed. I was terrified that I was losing money for my parents that they would have to pick up and start paying.
Sure.
And I learned a lesson and it was shame on me and no one was there to wrap my knuckles, you know? So
and you don't know it to the end.
But thank God you had that. And this is what I love about those kinds of scholarships is that when you have a bar, you know, some people don't have a bar. Some people don't have a self-imposed bar. And some people don't have a bar at home or a safety net, let's just call it. Like, that's the bottom to me. But if you have a bar where you're like, look, you need to do X, and if you fall below X, like there are going to be some ramifications, and there's going to be some things that need to be adjusted.
But you didn't flunk out. You know, like you didn't lose it all.
And it's not.
Correct.
That was the best lesson.
Right.
Yes. I had an opportunity to pick myself up by my bootstraps and I had to be honest and I had to tell my parents. And
that's worse. You're like,
oh my parents were so disappointed in me. But at the same point in time, they were like, all right, well, you know what you have to do now. And it's on you.
Correct.
And you know what? That taught me a lot about myself. And I actually did it. And damn, I was always in the 3.8s, 3.9s from there. But that changed everything for me as Farley Snow.
How many nights did you go out then? Not 7 nights a week. You knock it down to like 3.
And you know what? I mean, who knows if I was even out? It was just freedom. You know, I could like do whatever I wanted. I could go to somebody else.
You weren't being effective in your time management.
I wasn't being effective in my time management.
So
exactly.
That's all. Listen, and
you have to work a little bit harder in college. You know, like I was used to getting good grades because I, you know, didn't have to try ultra hard.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you know, it's different curriculum. You are going from, you know, 4th grade to high school or middle school, and it's a little harder, and high school's a little harder.
I don't know.
College is a little bit harder. So, you know, that the people that might just be able to coast, suddenly you're not really able to coast.
Well, and the other thing I think too is that, and people don't recognize this, is that a lot of the learning when you get to the higher levels of even high school, some of them, it's like it's self-paced and asynchronous learning where when you were in class in high school largely, and obviously younger than that, most of the work, and they're starting to flip this in schools, most of the class is like you do the class work and then the smaller portion is the homework, right? So like what you're responsible to do at home just reinforces what you were taught. Let's say it's 80-20 or 90-10, whatever, it doesn't matter. But largely the work is done in class. So like you're a studious student in class, and you know that's who we all are. Like you're like, okay, now I just have to go home and do a little bit of homework, and then I'm good to go. College is for most programs, it's the opposite, right? They're going to give you like a piece, and now you go figure it out, go apply it, go prove to me you learned it, and come back, and that's 80% of your grade. And I think a lot of parents don't understand that when they send their kids off to, especially some of these, you know, I'll call them designer schools, where like they're not going to just give your kid an A. And you do have to show up for class, and you do have to, like, you know, make yourself known, finish your assignments, and check in with the TA, and
extra credit available. You know, they actually, if you seek it, like not today, when I went to Abby's orientation, it was so amazing. A professor actually got up and spoke, and he was so likable. I was like, man, you know, Abby, you need this professor. In his syllabus, he actually put, if you are reading it to this page, which is like the very last number of page 10, here's an extra credit assignment for you. You will get an automatic 10 points just by going to my website, registering your information, telling me your birthday, your astrological sign, and like something, a unique fact about you. And that was, he said,
or did she read it?
Well, this is an example that he was giving at all.
She read it. She read it because she remembers the lesson. And it's so funny. I just talked to Shane about this lesson. We had a lesson when I was probably in second grade, and he had the same lesson at CBA, he said, where there was a chalkboard. The CBA, Christian Brothers Academy here in Lincroft, New Jersey, they still are very old school. There's a chalkboard, and it was like a list of like 50 things. And it was like 1, 2, like, and they were all very complex things. And the teacher said, before you start any of the assignment, like read through it and, then complete it. I remember doing it, and I feel like it was in second grade, and it was not obviously the level he did. But the last one says, do not do anything from this one before. So all of a sudden you're studious and you're starting to do all the assignments because you want to get ahead because you're like, want to be done first. And all of a sudden you see kids starting to put their pencils down. You're like, how did you jump with all of that?
Yeah.
Same thing. I love that.
That's great.
So good.
That's crazy. Well, Dee Dee doesn't have homework in Vermont. They don't give homework. So it's two ways of thinking. In New Jersey at her school, she has a ton of homework. And then in Vermont, their thinking is you study and so hard during the day that they say, just go home and read. So it's so many different ways of thinking and testing, from like collegiate to high school to way down to the 4th grade. So I'm wondering what it will be like when Dee Dee gets to high school and college, how different it's going to be.
That's going to be different because, it's changed like lightning speed since our kids started. Between the Chromebooks and the lack of penmanship, they don't teach penmanship. Back to school does not look like it used to. The number of notebooks, and
they told me to go get Abby an iPad so she can take notes on an iPad with the stylus, and it automatically translates into a PDF sheet of notes.
You just have to get the apps now that take notes for you. You sit there with your laptop. Have you not seen these? Yeah, and you hit the button and it takes down everything.
But she's got to write, or she's not going to remember anything.
Learn.
Exactly. She's got to write.
Well, okay, ready?
That's
but everybody's different.
Yeah.
And some of some people would be like, okay, I'm going to sit and listen, and somebody's going to take my notes. My computer's going to take my notes, and then I'm going to be able to go back to the notes because I was fully engaged in listening. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. There's some people that need to hear and write it down.
Yeah.
I think I would have been better if I could sit and fully immerse myself and not worry about the notes.
I have.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like some people are auditory. Like I learned this in my teaching of just yoga. Like there's some people that cannot. Would it matter if I gave the most clear direction? If they can't see me, they cannot do what I'm doing, right? So if you take that, in my view, if you take that with the way kids learn, some kids need to write, some kids need to see, some kids need to hear, some kids need to touch, they need to actually do it, whatever it is. So I think that's it's going to be interesting to see what the different evolution of learning is, because I do think we're figuring out that kids have different learning styles.
I think everybody's got their own.
Yeah.
I had to write in chicken scratch, just to keep up, with college notes, and then go back and I would actually have to make them anally perfect. So I would rewrite them and make them exactly the way I wanted them and add a little bit more, but just write down the gist of things. And that's what worked for me. But each person is unique and has their own system.
It'll be interesting.
I love it. And it's been super fun to talk to back to school. But right now, I'm going to go back and enjoy the rest of the summer, but go back to school shopping on Friday with my niece.
Back to the beach.
Back to
the beach before we have to go back to school, because it's coming. Tick tock, tick tock.
It's coming, but go out, go shopping, order all the gear you need to for your kids' dorm.
Make it an opportunity to do a little one-on-one with whoever's going back to school. Make it special. Go pick out, their school supplies with them, or take them to get their first day outfit or their backpack or their dorm supplies.
Go to Etsy and get a custom pillow like I did for Lily, pink Mongolian to match her pink theme. So,
oh my God.
But we love it. And thanks so much once again for listening to Girls Gone Gritty. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and give us any comments. And we love hearing from you. Tell us your back to school story. And thanks for listening.
Work hard, play hard every day.
Don't be too
Peace
cool
out.
for school. That's not too cool.
Study hard.